All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again, and today we are going to be talking about hands down the fastest way to increase your Ahrefs DR or domain rating. As you probably know, DR or domain rating is Ahrefs measure of authority, which is of course super important for ranking on Google, so it's no wonder that this is probably one of the most asked questions that we've gotten over the years in our Facebook group or on our YouTube comments and stuff like that, because increasing your authority can obviously have tremendous effects for ranking. And definitely be sure to watch the whole video because we're going to be doing some really in-depth analysis here, as well as giving you some alternative ways to increase your DR at the end of the video. All right, let's get into it. So I'm Chris Gegis, and you may know me from my link building agency over at sirlinksalot.co or our Facebook group or our other YouTube channel, or maybe you've seen me around on some other podcasts or at some SEO conferences, but you can go to my website for more information on me. But before we get into the analysis, just a quick disclaimer here. The fastest way to increase your DR is actually just to go to Fiverr and buy these DR increasing gigs. Go to Fiverr, search for something like increase DR, and there'll be a bunch of stuff here. And most of these work. If they've got a good rating and lots of reviews, there's a good chance that these are going to increase your domain rating in Ahrefs. The problem with this is it will really trick Ahrefs. It'll give you a higher DR in Ahrefs, but Ahrefs and Google are not the same thing. Ahrefs has its own bots. They're crawling their internet and they're trying their best to try to analyze all the websites on the internet, analyze all the backlinks, and to try to determine which ones are the strongest. And that's what the DR score is. However, their bots and the way that they calculate things is not the same way that Google does. Google is a much larger company with many more resources. They have way more bots crawling the internet. Their algorithm is a lot more sophisticated and advanced than Ahrefs. They just got a ton more money behind them to do all this stuff. So just keep in mind that increasing your DR and doing well on Google are not really related. It's a lot easier to trick Ahrefs than it is to trick Google. I also want to say if you're trying to increase your DR and you're not doing it because you want to rank better on Google, but for some other reason, the only real reason you'd want to do this is to do some kind of scam, right? You're either scamming your clients by telling them that, oh, look, I'm doing a good job at SEO and you should continue paying me. Or maybe you're trying to scam people that are building links, right? They see that your website has a higher DR, so they're willing to pay you more money and try to get links on your website. So I'm not a scammer. I don't think you should be scamming people either. But as SEOs, I think it's extremely important that we understand how this stuff works. Not only will it help us keep us safe from potential scams, but it just gives us a better understanding of doing SEO. And by the way, let me know if you like this kind of content, because this actually took me a really long time to do, a lot longer than normal videos. So if you like this kind of content, go ahead and give the video a like and give my channel a sub. So this was a DR boosting gig that was purchased on Fiverr. And this was one thing that was purchased, as well as about 5,000 spam Web 2.0 backlinks, which is a completely different thing. But this is the DR boosting gig. This is the website that it was purchased for. You can see that it's raised their DR to about 67, which is higher than our link building agency over at sirlinksalot, which is kind of crazy. And this only takes a couple days to do, right? DR67, 1.1K referring domains. You can see the number of referring domains just rises pretty much in a straight up line here, which is something to really pay attention to when you're analyzing websites. If their referring domains graph does something like this, there's a good chance that they're trying to inflate their DR, or maybe they're just doing a 301 redirect. And coming over to organic search, we can see that they are increasing in traffic, but they really don't have that much traffic. They're only about 120 traffic right now. So are these gigs working? It looks like, yeah, they are providing some crawlability to the website. They are providing some backlinks to the website. However, I wouldn't really expect them to get much more traffic from this, just from the gigs. Because yes, these gigs increase their DR, but they're not really what I would consider super quality backlinks. However, they're not the worst backlinks I've ever seen either. It's actually a lot cleaner and a lot more natural than a lot of the other DR boosting gigs that I've seen, especially in the past, but we'll talk about those a little bit later in the video. All right, so back to the analysis. What you can see over here is I've got a bunch of these things marked as red, and all of these things that are marked as red, they all come from the same website or the same group of websites, which is controlled by SB Nation. SB Nation is just the sports website, and you can go and create a social profile on this website, which means you just set up an account, say like, hey, this is my name, here's my website, this is what I do, stuff like that. And your profile will just look something like this. Have your name, when you join, and have some links to whatever you want to link to. So every one of these marked in red is from SB Nation or a SB Nation controlled website. They're all just social profiles. They're all no-follow links. The anchor text is usually just the name of the author. So my name is Chris Gegis. If I made a profile, the link going to my website, the anchor text would just be Chris Gegis. And yeah, it's about 50 out of 150 of these links are just from SB Nation or SB Nation controlled websites. If we go back to SB Nation and click blogs up here, you'll start seeing all of these other blogs that they control. You can get profiles set up on all of these different blogs. Let's go ahead and click on a couple of them for you just so you can see. So the first example here is on the banks.com. I just picked one at random. And so you can see it's actually a completely separate domain. But when you go and set up the social profiles on this, it looks exactly the same. It's the exact same backend. So you have those, and then you have ones like this over here, which is actually on a subdomain of SB Nation. So it's a lot easier to tell that it's just on a subdomain and it's connected to SB Nation, right? So yeah, 50 of the 150 links from SB Nation, profile links, no follow. Then you can see these other ones marked as yellow, and all of these yellow ones are also just social profiles. And if I search for a profile in this document, you can see that about 115 of these links are just social profiles. Go on the website, create an account, set up your profile. Here's my name, here's my picture, here's my website, this is what I do. Anyone can go and make these things. They're free, they're easy. Are they going to do a ton for your SEO? Not really. These are what we consider pillow links, a part of foundational link building. We do like building social profiles, but they're not these super powerful links that are going to do a lot for actually increasing your domain authority in Google's eyes. They might trick Ahrefs, but they don't trick Google, right? The next category of links in here that we'll discuss are these orange ones, which are just Web 2.0. If we search the document, it finds Web 2.0 about 21 times here. So let's go and take a quick look at what that would actually look like. Here's this website right here, BlogDigi, and here's this other one, blog5.net. All you do is you go and you sign up, it's free, and then you can create your own mini website on their website, and it's usually a subdomain. So I've gone ahead and done a site colon search for BlogDigi here, and we'll go and find some of them. We don't want that one because it looks kind of bad, but let's click on this one just so we can give you guys an example. So you can see here it's on a subdomain, luxury jewelry, blah, 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 .blogdigi.com. And they've got their own little blog reel here, and they can just post any articles that they want. So we'll go ahead and click one of these articles. See, they've got a YouTube video. They've got some content here. It looks like really bad content, really lazy. But you get the point. You can just sign up on these websites and start creating your own little mini blog reel on them. They are on subdomains, so they do not get the power of the root domain. But Ahrefs will show them as being high authority links, but they're really not, because this subdomain has no power behind it. The subdomain has no backlinks pointing to it, only the root domain does. And Google treats subdomains as completely separate from the root domain. This kind of link building was really abused in the past, and people used to rank just by doing this kind of stuff, but then the search engines caught on to it. You can see here's their link right here. And one of the cool things about Web 2.0 is you can actually just choose your anchor text, because it's like your little blog, right? So you can actually use like an exact match anchor if you wanted to. But anyways, people used to kind of abuse this stuff more in the past. Search engines learned what they were doing. It doesn't really work anymore. However, I still like using them as pillow links. They can add just a little bit of randomness coming into your website. But yeah, they don't do much for you. I just consider them part of kind of foundation building if you want to. They're not really necessary. So like I was saying before, it looks like about 21 of the links are these Web 2.0 type links. And then the rest down here, you see these ones that are white. These are the ones that are a little bit more interesting, but a lot of them are really not that interesting either. And they kind of fall into a few different categories, but we'll go ahead and look into those too. We'll go ahead and look at this one. You get links from Behance.net. And I'm just clicking on a random project here, and you can see that it is an image-based website. However, in these kind of like posts that they do, you can also include text with links. Let's see if we can find one real quick. So here we go. Here's this one with clowns or whatever. These are actually kind of cool looking. They look like NFTs you would see a little while back when those were popular. But anyways, you can see that they have this text right here. And in this text, you can actually put a link with any kind of anchor text that you want in it. And these are not on subdomain. These are actually on the root domain of Behance. So you actually get credit for that authority, right? Next up, it's kind of interesting that they included this in here. They included a redirect from Bitly. As you know, Bitly is just a link shortener. So you can just go in here and put in your link, and it'll create a redirect link that'll look something like bit.ly/ and then a bunch of random numbers. And if someone clicks that, it just takes them to wherever the redirect is going to, which would be your website, right? So I've really never seen someone include a link like this when you're buying links, like a gig or whatever. It's definitely interesting they put this in here. I don't think this really does anything for your SEO at all. I'm surprised they even would include this in their list, but whatever. I guess it is another high authority property, right? And you can see that all of the DA or the authority of all the links they've included in here, there's really nothing in here that's under like DA of 80. So like DA 80 something, DA 90 something, right? And that is, of course, DA, which is a Moz metric, not Ahrefs. Next up, it looks like you can get links from Canva pretty easily. You do the same thing that you do on Behance. I'm pretty sure you probably know what Canva is by now, but on Canva, you can go and create thumbnails or just any kind of images or slideshows or whatever. I actually use this a lot for creating all the thumbnails for my YouTube channel. And in this, you can actually go create a design. Then you can add text into your design, and you can even put links in that text. And then you can make that design public, and then boom, you got a link from Canva. Scrolling down, you can see these ones right here. They're basically just getting links from Google Drive, Google Docs, and Dropbox, which are, of course, just file management kind of services where you can have these folders online in the cloud and store your documents there. So all they do is they put a document on these things, put a link to your website in that document, and then they just make it public so that anyone can access it. A lot of people like to do this kind of thing when they are doing foundational link building, but I don't do it at all. Anyway, something to be aware of that people are actually doing, right? Then next up, we had a bunch of these kind of course websites. Anyway, you just go to these websites, you create an account, and you can create these courses, and the courses you can make public. So it works kind of like a Web 2.0. However, there was not a subdomain created for these, so you actually are getting to post on the root domain. But yeah, it works the same way. You're just basically signing up to this website, creating content on the website, and you can put links in the content that you're creating. There were a bunch of these in here, and a lot of them have the exact same backend. So I'm not really sure why, but like really they look exactly the same. They have the same buttons on the side. They have the same exact layout. They're exactly the same thing, but the color scheme has changed. And they had maybe like 10 or 20 of these in here. And Evernote, of course, are just other places that you can create notes or documents online and then put, text in your document, put anchor text in there. They work exactly the same way as some of the other stuff that we showed. I guess we'll show this one because it's a little bit interesting, a little bit different. But on this website, you can create slideshows. It's just a slideshow creating website where you can go and show your slideshows to anyone, create slideshows for free, right? And so, yeah, same exact thing as the other ones. When you're creating documents, you just create your slideshow, drop links into the text in your slideshow, make it public. These two were file sharing platforms. You can upload a file into the platform with a link in there. More courses, more document storage, slideshow. You can create posts on Quora, of course. More slideshows. This one is weird. It works kind of like Web 2.0, but it's on the root domains, but you can just sign up and create articles on there. This one you just put your website on, and it gives people information about your website. Document sharing, more Web 2.0 stuff. So as you can see, there's really nothing special here at all. These are all just things that anybody can go on these websites and sign up for. And then there's little ways that you can get your links on these websites. But it's really important to note that these are not the same thing as what we would call an editorial link, which would be something like a guest post, a link insertion, links from digital PR, or even PBN links, right? So these are all links from actual websites in like articles on the website that you do not own, that no one has access to except for the webmasters, right? And these are a lot more valuable, and Google knows they're a lot more valuable because you are not supposed to have control of these websites. And so they actually function as someone else endorsing your content. Whereas this, anyone can go and sign up and do these things. So Google knows that they are not endorsing your content. They know that Canva is not endorsing your content if you go over to Canva and create a design and put a link in there, right? They're smart enough to figure that out. So yes, you can get a link on Canva. Yes, it is a high authority website, but does Google see that as Canva's endorsing you and saying, hey, Canva says that you're a good source of information? Of course not. But they are links, and links are how bots crawl around the internet, right? So if a link comes to on the Canva onto the design, sees your backlink, and then crawls to your website, you are getting a bot crawling to your website. So these kind of links can enhance crawlability, getting bots onto your website, but they don't really enhance your SEO or increase your actual authority, which is the power of your website, which Google says, this website's more powerful than this website, so this one needs to rank above it. It doesn't do that, but it does get bots going to your website. A couple more things about the gig. I went over to this website, Duplicate Checker, and they have a Google index checker, and so you can quickly check if things are indexed or not. And only 3 of the 150 links were indexed on Google. But I'll be fair here, social profiles and things like citations do not get indexed usually because there's a difference between Google's search index and what Google sees. So if you go and create a bunch of social profiles and a bunch of social media websites, does Google think that this information, that these pages are valuable for searchers to see if searchers are typing in a question on Google? Of course not. No one wants to see a citation or your social profile. They have zero value at all for a searcher. So there's a difference between Google's search index, which is what they display to searchers who are looking for a question to be answered, versus what Google knows are there. So for example, with citations, would you say, oh, citations are not good because they're not indexed? Of course not. Anyone who knows local SEO knows that citations are maybe the most important thing you need to do for local SEO, right? But it doesn't mean that Google needs to show them to searchers because no searcher wants to see a citation. So keep that in mind. Difference between index and between what Google knows is there. I've shown this before on some of my other videos, but Google even has this patent here for social profiles saying that they look at social profiles just to determine the entity of your website, just to see what your website is, that you're establishing your online presence. No, they don't really help your SEO a ton, but they do help in a way because they help establish you in the eyes of Google. A couple other things I noticed, there was no tiered link building done to these things, which means they're not building backlinks to these backlinks. A lot of times people will like to use like auto-generated GSA spam backlinks to try to power up these other crappy backlinks, but it doesn't look like they're doing that here. Some of these have already been removed, even though the gig is only like a week or two old. A lot of those end up being these Web 2.0s. For whatever reason, they get flagged by the Web 2.0 services. They say, hey, there's something wrong here. We're reviewing your article, or we've taken your account down, or we've removed your article because it violates our terms of service. Happens a lot when people are just trying to do this auto-generated kind of spam stuff really fast. They kind of catch on to you and delete your account. So the old way of increasing your DR really quickly was to do Google redirects. Those would look something like this. And this was actually a lot more unnatural because this was really easy to see in Ahrefs. And of course, Google could catch on to this stuff really easily as well. But then Moz fixed it, and then Ahrefs fixed it because this was a really easy one to catch, really easy one to fix. However, I will say that this one is a lot more natural. Even though these aren't like the best backlinks in the world, they are a bunch of just like social profiles, right? Social profiles, Web 2.0s, file sharing, cloud storage. This is a lot more natural of a gig. So yes, it does increase your DR, which is very unnatural, but it's kind of more like Ahrefs' problem, right? So hopefully Ahrefs can figure this out because we definitely don't want this to be happening because this is a lot harder to detect and most of these links don't even show up in Ahrefs. So if someone bought this gig, you can go into Ahrefs and you won't even see them when you click on backlinks. Because yeah, I checked and they just weren't there. So super hard to detect if someone's increasing their DR, right? So would this hurt your SEO? And I don't think this will really hurt your SEO because this is pretty natural, just social profile type stuff. And a lot of the anchor text is not like exact match anchors. It's just like URL anchors, branded anchors, your name, stuff like that. Stuff that just says website. And it's not really spam. Anyone can just go and sign up on social profiles, and Google's not going to hold that against you, really. So I will be quite honest here. I feel like this is much, much, much better than the old way of doing things. It's a lot sneakier. Still don't advise you doing it. For example, if you have a finance website, what are the chances that you're going to be on 50 different SB Nation websites? It just doesn't make any sense, right? But I also don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I don't think it's going to hurt you. But like I mentioned before, not going to do much for your SEO either. You can go over to my YouTube channel and watch this video right here, the top 5 types of backlinks in 2024, links that actually help you rank on Google. Like I mentioned before, that's just going to be editorial type links, which will be guest posts, link insertions, PBNs, digital PR, maybe some Haro. But yeah, you can find out all about that in this video here. And these links will increase your DR, but they will also increase your authority with Google, which will help you rank higher than other websites on Google. This gig will not help you rank higher than other websites on Google. Increases your DR, does not help you outrank anyone. But decent foundational pillow linking if I'm being real. Moral of the story, tricking Ahrefs is easy, tricking Google is much harder. By building these types of links, it's going to take a lot more time, a lot more money. You're definitely not going to increase your DR in just a day or two. But then you're actually doing SEO. You're actually doing something that's going to help you in the long term. You're not just scamming someone. You're not just scamming a client or someone who's trying to buy links. All right, guys, that's it for now. Go ahead and give the video a like if you like this kind of content. Like I said, it took a long time to do this because I actually went in and analyzed like everything because I really wanted to understand how they were doing this. So yeah, let me know what you think and go ahead and give the video a like and my channel a sub if you are enjoying it. All right, guys, see you next time. Bye bye.